Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
The Local 4 Defenders tonight exposing a statement made by a Detroit firefighter that has now sparked a City of Detroit civil rights investigation.
But we continue to follow breaking news from Burton, which is near Flint. That's where a Genesee County Sheriff's deputy is in critical condition and a Burton police officer in fair condition after both were shot while trying to make an arrest. The sheriff says his deputy and the Burton officer were chasing a suspect on foot when that man started shooting. Officers returned fire, killing the suspect. The deputy and officer were rushed to Hurley Medical Center. Officials say they'll have another update at 11 o'clock tonight. A civil rights investigation is underway over a serious allegation about race made by one Detroit firefighter against another. And the way that firefighter brought his accusation is also now being investigated internally. Local 4 Defender Sean Lay joins us. And Sean, this allegation was made over the radio, I understand.
Absolutely. We've been looking into this. Here's what we're learning tonight, Karen, that stems from an apartment fire. It happened December 5th at 96 and Peterborough. Now, a veteran firefighter says he left that scene because he felt threatened during that fire situation. Another veteran firefighter got on the fire radio to call his fellow firefighter a liar. He says race was involved as the reason why the firefighter left the scene. Tonight, we have that controversial radio call.
He lying, Chief. I picked him up. This is Engine 1. He didn't get threatened at all. There's a lot of black people here, and I think he's feeling threatened about that.
An explosive allegation about honesty and race made by one Detroit firefighter towards another Detroit firefighter has sparked a civil rights investigation and an internal Detroit Fire Department investigation because the serious charge was made over the fire department radio. And we're told firefighters heard it. Many are outraged about how that message was delivered. Here's the context. December 5th, a chief is checking in with the crew for an update on a kitchen fire in an apartment building.
This is Ladder 20. He's the chief of channel there.
A veteran sergeant from Ladder 20 explains why he left the scene.
Turned out to be a careless cook, but while we were trying to make access to the office, a couple of the residents got a little irate with us. And I felt threatened, so I left the building.
That's when another veteran sergeant gets on the radio, accusing his fellow firefighter of lying and also saying this.
He lying, Chief. I picked him up. This is Engine 1. He didn't get threatened at all. There's a lot of black people here, and I think he's feeling threatened about that.
There's a pause, and the target of that allegation responds.
That is not true.
The chief says he's coming over right away to check this out.
This is Chief 1. Nice to meet you. I'm in.
Department administration tells me tonight they're taking all of this very seriously. An internal investigation into the use of the radio and what was said over the radio. Firefighters tell us it clearly broke protocol. Also, the city's civil rights division looking into this as well because race was brought up. Everyone wants to get to the bottom of that. We are told both firefighters, guys, remain on the job right now tonight. They could face suspensions, but one investigation, the internal one, could be 45 days. The city civil rights investigation could take up to 6 months. I'm Defender Sean Lay, Local 4. Back to you.
A lot to unpack there, most definitely. All right. Thank you, Sean, for bringing this to us.
President Biden unveils new steps to help communities tackle the highly contagious Omicron variant spreading across the country. Those new plans include the government's purchase of 500 million COVID tests to be shipped out starting in January, free tests. People will use a new website to order those, which will be sent through the Postal Service, again at no charge. President Biden will also use the Defense Production Act to help manufacture more tests and more testing sites. 1,000 military troops will be sent to 6 states, including Michigan, to help overwhelmed hospitals. And hundreds more ventilators will be deployed to sites across the country.
So starting this week, I'll be deploying hundreds more vaccinators and more sites to help get the booster shots in people's arms. I've ordered FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, to stand up new pop-up vaccination clinics all across the country, where you can get that booster shot.
Meantime, in her first COVID-19 news conference since June, Governor Whitmer updated us on Michigan's response to the pandemic. Here's what she had to say.
At this juncture, we know that it's the unvaccinated population that is most at risk to themselves, to others, to all of us in terms of being a vector for a mutation, right? And so That's why our focus has to be on making sure that people get boosted and the unvaccinated get vaccinated and that our kids get vaccinated.
And with Christmas just days away, the push for boosters intensifying. Lots of viewers have questions for our Dr. Frank McGeorge, and he's back to answer more of your concerns about the variants and the vaccines. Hi, Frank.
Hey, yeah, so a viewer writes, I keep hearing that Omicron doesn't make people as sick as Delta, but doctors are more worried about Omicron. Isn't it good that people don't get as sick? So it is good that the preliminary data actually suggest an Omicron illness may not be as severe. However, data also strongly suggest it is significantly more contagious, and it seems to more easily reinfect previously infected people. The risk with Omicron is that although it might cause severe illness less often, if it infects way more people, the number of people with severe illness may in fact still end up higher. Now here are a few more of your questions. A viewer asks, is there any research on if the home rapid tests will pick up the Omicron variant? Also wondered if any research on Omicron is being done to see how long it lives on surfaces and if social distancing should be adjusted. It seems all the research was on the original strain and may no longer apply. That's a great question about rapid tests. The short answer is yes, they will pick up variant infections like Delta or Omicron. The most concerning mutations that cause us to be more worried about a specific variant are on the spike protein. The beauty is that home tests aren't testing for the spike protein. They test for a different protein called the nucleocapsid protein. Now, as far as the variants surviving longer on surfaces or in the air, that's not a concern. The increased risk with variants comes from the enhanced spike protein's ability to latch onto our cells once they've made it into our respiratory tract. That, and possibly an increase in replication, makes it more contagious. They don't have any added durability in the air or on surfaces. Victor writes, my wife and I received the Pfizer vaccine in April of 2021. We both had breakthrough cases of COVID with mild symptoms at the end of November. Should we still receive the booster? If so, when would be the best time? You should still receive the booster, especially since you had a mild case of COVID, which is less likely to have generated a large immune response. You can get your booster anytime. Now, finally, many people who have received a booster are asking how they're going to know if they'll eventually need to get another one. Well, the fact is, researchers are tracking the people in the booster clinical trials to see how their protection holds up over time, and any recommendation for additional boosters is going to come from the CDC further down the road. So we just don't know yet. Back to you.
Yeah, we really do appreciate these Q&As, Frank, for sure. Because every time I think, I don't really have any questions, you run through these, and it's everything I'm trying to figure out. So we appreciate it.
Keep turning up.
Yeah.
Well, as we learn more about the days and the hours before the Oxford shooting, we are also learning more about how threats and crimes are tracked across Michigan schools. Our Grant Herms talked with law enforcement and experts about just how little we know when it comes to threats in our schools.
We started working on this investigation more than a month before the shooting at Oxford High School. So the voices you're about to hear from aren't specifically talking about what happened there. But nonetheless, we found a staggering number of schools aren't following the state law when it comes to reporting threats or crimes, leaving state law enforcement scrambling to prevent the unthinkable.
In the wake of the Oxford shooting, questions about what goes on at school once students are dropped off have been everywhere. And given what law enforcement already knows about what happens after that first bell rings, the answers are cause for alarm.
One of the studies or research that I had read in one community showed that for every major incident a young person was involved in, at least 5 to 7 minor incidents were unreported.
Legally, districts have to report incidents or attempted incidents for a range of crimes. Under state law, what those crimes are isn't defined, but state police keep track of everything from physical or sexual assault to theft to arson. Those have to be reported to MSP within 24 hours. But there's a problem. It just isn't happening. In 2020, Michigan State Police say only 4% of schools followed the law, making the job of MSP's Office of School Safety, which uses those numbers to track dangerous trends in schools, that much harder.
We received information from 150 schools. So the law states that it is required, but there's no teeth to it if they don't report.
And MSP knows it's missing numbers because of the state's OK to Say tip line, where thousands of tips about possible crimes are reported by thousands of students each year. In 2020, more than 3,700 tips were sent in from across the state.
We tried to get our hands on records from individual districts, but they aren't subject to public records requests. What we could get was every time police were called to a school since 2017, which means I can tell you there were 1,800 thefts in 2017 or 400 aggravated assaults in 2019, but I can't tell you where.
MSP says it shares its findings with members of the State Department of Education who sit on the state's School Safety Commission at least 4 times a year. When we asked if the department kept track of incidents or communicated with MSP about them at all, a spokesperson saying in a one-word email, no.
Why then would the Department of Ed say that they don't communicate with you about these numbers when clearly they sit on the commission and they do that? Don't they have the authority to get schools to do what they're supposed to be doing here?
Yeah, those are questions you would have to get with the Department of Ed on.
So we did. In an email, an MDE spokesperson saying districts are required to put a record of certain incidents up on their websites. And when it comes to the incident reports the department gets, they say, quote, MDE does not get these numbers from MSP unless we request them. Then we get the same report that is submitted to the School Safety Commission. Experts also fear more trouble may be on the way this school year, a worrisome thought if 96% of schools aren't reporting like they should.
I think we have had a lot of trauma for kids.
The Educator School Safety Network is a national group that makes a list of states of concern for threats like school shootings or bombings based on the number of reports in the news. In their most recent report in 2018, Michigan was number 1 on that list, and fears things may get worse as kids come back into in-person learning are on the rise.
The kids that are coming back to school have more needs and are more in crisis than ever before. So I think there is the potential for things to get really bad.
So all of it begs the question, what more can be done to prevent another crisis, another tragedy, where kids should be the safest?
What happens in the next 2, 3, 4 years is going to depend on the decisions we make in the next school years.
I think that's just so critical for us to handle some of these issues collectively as a group so we can really assist these students succeed.
Now, MSP says schools are still incredibly safe places to send your kids, and just because a school isn't reporting doesn't mean they aren't taking school safety seriously, but they do say if they could get more schools to report to law enforcement more often, then law enforcement could get ahead of more trends and keep more schools safer. In Detroit, Grant Herms, Local 4.